Hello guys, good afternoon to you all. You are welcome to biology class once again. We continue from where we stop. As you know, this is Mr. Odolatunji. We are going to look at some basic ecological concepts here today. Those are the ones you've seen that are highlighted. So we go to the first one, which is environment. What is an environment? An environment is the surrounding of an organism which include both the abiotic and the biotic part of an environment. For example, the biotic part include the living things, the plants and the animals in an environment of an organism, while the abiotic components include the non-living part, which could include the edaphic factor, that's the topography, or you refer to the climatic factor like the temperature and so on. So we're going to look at that much better in this presentation. Okay, so the next one here is the biosphere. The biosphere is the part of the earth in which life exists. From the word biosphere, bio means life. So it means anywhere life can exist on earth is referred to as a biosphere. So you can find that both on land, on soil, water, and also on air. And that provides habitats for organisms like animals, plants, and microorganisms. Okay, so that's very important for you to take note. And then we also have the lithosphere. The key word in the lithosphere is that it is the solid portion of the earth, and it forms the basis of a human settlement. That's where we are living presently, is a lithosphere, the solid part of the earth. So you also have the hydrosphere, and the hydrosphere, from the word hydro means water. So hydrosphere is the aquatic portion of the earth, or you call it the liquid portion of the earth. Okay, and that comprises of the ocean, the lake, the sea, the rivers, the streams, oases, and then you have the ponds. It makes about 70% of the earth crust in total. Hope you are following. Then you have the atmosphere, and that is the gaseous portion of the earth. Okay, that is the evidence that the earth is surrounded by air, and the air is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 0.03% carbon dioxide, and then 0.97% rare gases. The next one is habitat. What's an habitat? That's a natural dwelling place. The natural dwelling place of an organism is referred to as habitat, where an organism lives within an environment. Okay, and the next one is biome. When you talk about biome, it's simply referred to as the large area of the earth's surface in which certain types of plants and animals can be found. You have tropical rainforest. In tropical rainforest, the kind of plants and animals you found there is different from what you found in savanna. Savanna is a grassland, and what you have in the savanna is also different from what you have in the desert. The desert is a land without water. Okay, so these are biome, and then we have various biome locally, that's in Nigeria, and then you also have some biome internationally, that's globally. So within each biome you have different kind of ecosystem. So we come to ecological niche. When we talk about ecological niche, the key word here is just the niche. That is the particular position that an organism occupy in a community. This is different from habitat. Habitat could be a water body like the aquatic habitat, or the land habitat like the terrestrial habitat, or the arboreal like the habitat on trees and all that. But in this case, the particular point where an organism lives, for example, if you have on a particular tree now, you have different parts where organisms can live. For example, a bird can live on the branch of the tree, okay, making its nest there. And another thing, and another organism like insects, okay, can find themselves on the leaf, living on the leaf of the tree, okay. So those are the particular position that is being occupied by the organism, and that's what you refer to as the ecological niche, and that will also contribute to its role in that habitat, in the food chain, and then also in the food web. That means it fits on an organism and an organism fits on it, okay. So that is a ecological niche. And the next one is population. Population refers to the number or total number of organisms of the same species living in a given area, okay. When you talk about the population of rat, population of goat, population of hibiscus flower, population of man, okay, you cannot say population of rat together with goat and human. No, population means the same species of organism living in a given area. Underline that word, the same species of organism, okay. So the next one here is the community. As you can see in the picture you have here, all the different species in a particular habitat that make up a community. In a particular community you can have different types of organism, a group of organisms of different species. Like in the water body is a community where you have you could have shark, you could have tilapia fish, you could have different kind of organism, okay. You could have snail and all that living in a particular community. So that's a community. A community is larger than a population, okay, because population deal with particular species, while community refers to different kind of species. And then you have ecosystem. When you talk about ecosystem, it's a place or unit in nature comprising of living and non-living things which are interacting, okay. So when you talk about ecosystem, both living, which is biotic factor, and non-living, which is abiotic factor, they interact together. At the point where you find them interacting together is what you refer to as an ecosystem, like a working system, okay. And then you also have the component of an ecosystem. In an ecosystem you could have biotic component or factor, we've mentioned that before, or you could have the abiotic component or factor, we've mentioned that. Let me explain each of those. Talking about biotic components, once again, it's referred to as living factor or living thing, okay. And living things generally, they are plants and animals present in the ecosystem, okay. So they are grouped majorly into three. You have the producers, you have the consumers, and then you have the decomposers. So the producers are the autotrophs, meaning that they are the ones that manufacture their food through the process of photosynthesis, okay. And then you also have the consumer. The consumers are heterotrophs. That means they depend directly or indirectly on the autotrophs. And then you have the decomposers, which are organisms that break down dead plants and animals by feeding on them and thereby releasing nutrients to the soil for producers, which like fungi and bacteria and so on. I hope that is clear. So those are biotic components, all the living factor, the producers referring to the autotrophs, the consumers referring to the heterotrophs, and the decomposer referring to organisms that help to decompose the plants and animals that are dead, okay. So and then lastly, the abiotic component. When we say the abiotic component, that's the non-living factors or non-living things within an ecosystem. Like I said earlier, it could be climatic factor like temperature, like wind, like humidity, like sunlight and rainfall. Those are non-living factors, and they affect organisms living in a particular ecosystem. You also have the inorganic materials and nutrients like carbon, dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus. And then you also have the edaphic factors like the soil factor, the rock, and the topography, okay. The topography is talking about the shape of the soil, okay, the shape of the earth. So you have the rock, the soil, and then so on. Then other factors include dust, storm, and fire and water. All these are also abiotic components. So all these work together, both the biotic and abiotic components, to give us what we refer to as an ecosystem. Okay, you can see the picture here talking about food availability, that's biotic, predator, composition, competition from other organisms, and infection of from pathogens. Then the abiotic, you see the sunlight, the temperature, the pH, water, minerals, soil type, and then salinity. So all these are what we have been able to look at today, but then we still move on with some other things shortly, that's outside this video presentation. Thank you.